This news update is brought to you by
You got an upgrade for Christmas.
If you're feeling lucky, you could win some money.
Upgrade for Christmas.
$200,000 in cash and prizes. With Lime, you could win some money. It's Lime's Christmas Lottery. 250 winners this Christmas, oh yeah.
Sign up for upgrade to super fast broadband, Lime TV, e-billing, a data plan, top up $15. Purchase a handset or text 4263 to enter.
Upgrade for Christmas.
Welcome to the Barbados Today Afternoon Update. It's Tuesday, January 6, 2015. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Well, it's the first day of the new school term, but hundreds of teachers were not in the classrooms this morning. Instead, they were meeting with their bargaining agent, the Barbados Union of Teachers, for a 3-hour-long meeting. The teachers were called to the B.U.T's Solidarity House headquarters to discuss their next move after the Ministry of Education failed to provide solutions to problems facing the Alma Paris and Parkinson Memorial Secondary Schools. Carl Williams is on location and has a full report.
Thus, the Hugh Springer Auditorium at Solidarity House is filled to capacity as hundreds of teachers gather to hear from the leadership of the Barbados Union of Teachers, B.U.T. Though the organizers provided seating for an estimated 600 people, the number in attendance far surpasses that. One official who helped organize the seating estimates that around 1,000 teachers have packed into the upstairs and downstairs auditorium, with most standing on the outside and others still arriving. At least 2 uniformed police officers are on the scene, though the atmosphere remains calm. The B.U.T leadership did not speak to members of the press prior to the 3-hour meeting that is discussing the situation at the Alma Paris and Parkinson Memorial Schools, as well as the appointment of temporary teachers. The B.U.T, which met with education officials on Friday, had given the Ministry of Education a 72-hour deadline to resolve the matters in what it deemed a satisfactory manner. Reporting from Solidarity House, Carol Williams for Barbados Today.
Meantime, students and teachers of Grazettes Primary School today returned to their familiar classrooms after being relocated back in October. The school was closed because of an environmental problem that education officials said resulted from improper fogging. Principal Edwin Bowen says her charges and staff are happy to be back home and they are settling in well.
I'm very happy and pleased that our school is open today at our original location here in Ealing Road, Gazette, and I believe everything is fine. I want to say thanks to all the persons who have worked diligently to get the condition of the school back to normal, the persons in the Ministry of Education, especially in the EPIU section.
One parent told Barbados Today she's elated that the school has reopened.
Well, I feel a lot better because it was a lot of struggle with the bus on the morning and a lot of hustle, like the bus coming early and then it coming late. So I feel a lot better to see that the kids could come now and settle in a lot comfortable. So I appreciate it and I hope it stays this year forever.
Opposition MP for the area, Ronald Toppin, was also on hand this morning. He too is pleased to see the school returning to normalcy, though he suggested it took too long to resolve the problem at the school. Toppin says he hopes students will not face any more disruptions.
The disruption really was obviously very detrimental to Grazettes. Even a casual visit to the temporary location where they were accommodated in Whitehall and Eden Lodge, the facilities there with the best will in the world were clearly inadequate for a school to properly function in my view. And I think that the children who are doing the 11th exam were significantly disadvantaged. So I'm glad to see that they're back here and hopefully they will be able to catch up. I hope they weren't disadvantaged too badly. But here's hoping that things will progress smoothly now. I must comment that I think it took way too long to hopefully have resolved the issue. Time will tell if it has been fully resolved.
Meantime, President of the Barbados National Council for Parent-Teacher Associations, Rhonda Blackman, gives the Ministry of Education the thumbs up for its quick action in safeguarding the health and safety of students at the school.
That is great news. We need to commend the Ministry of Education for the quick stance that they've taken and ensuring that the children's health and safety was paramount, and we commend them for the stance that they would have taken. What also we are glad that the children are now back in their normal environment, that the education can now really go forward in a significant way. Common entrance is coming up, and the children can now become very settled and move forward their education. And it was great to see how quick the ministry took action to ensure that the children's education wasn't compromised. So we commend the ministry for that, and we are hopeful that the children, when they go back in their environment, would go back to a state of normalcy.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
In sports, all-rounder Kevin Stout will lead Barbados Pride as they seek to defend their WICB Nagico Super 50 Championship title in this year's tournament. The competition runs from January 15 to 26 in Trinidad and Tobago. Among Stout's team is 6 players who have played for the West Indies at the senior and international level. This morning, Barbados Pride went up against combined campuses and colleges in the first of 2 practice matches at the 3Ws Oval. The second one will be played on Thursday, and that's a day and night affair. And still in sports, South Africa clinches the Test series by 8 wickets on the 5th day of the 3rd and final test against the West Indies at Newlands today. South Africa won the series 2-0, with one match finishing in a rain-affected draw. The left-handed Dean Edgar made a 60 not out as South Africa reached a victory target of 124 shortly before lunch. To our regional neighbors now, and the Trinidad and Tobago government revises its budget in light of the continuing fall in global oil prices. But Finance Minister Larry Howai is leaving the details to Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who will deliver a statement to the nation on the matter on Thursday. Asked yesterday by TV6 News whether the continuing downward trend will cause the government to revisit the US $80 per barrel oil price on which the budget is partly based, Hawaii said it would not be proper to preempt the Prime Minister's statement. The Twin Island continues to earn the majority of its revenue from oil and natural gas. Meantime, falling oil prices is causing concerns over the globe. The commodity hit an all-time low of below $50 a barrel. CNN Money explains the reason behind the fall.
The price of oil has plunged, falling to the lowest level since the 2009 economic crisis. But this isn't just about money lost in trading pits or saved at the gas pump. Oil is a signal for the global economy. It powers the planet, supplying 1/3 of all energy consumed. So, in a sense, the economic activity of billions of people is reflected in the price of a single barrel of crude. Let's break down the global game of supply and demand that's driving the drop. The world is producing more oil, especially in America. New technologies allow companies to extract oil from shale rock, boosting U.S. production nearly 90% since 2008. Meanwhile, OPEC, the international cartel that represents many of the biggest oil-producing nations, isn't turning off its spigot, keeping production levels stable. While new oil floods the market, demand is falling. Economic stumbles in Europe and China have curbed the world's thirst, and oil consumption will grow by less than 1% this year. Low demand, high supply, a perfect recipe for falling prices, which helps one part of the economy and hurts another.
And that's where we end our afternoon update, but you can join us again this evening. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune in to Channel 101 Online TV to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Do have a safe and enjoyable day.
This news update is brought to you by
I won from me to me.
for me?
Yes. You don't need speakers, right?
Upgrade to win every week with Lime. Sign up for Lime TV or broadband or purchase an iPhone 6 or Samsung Note 4. Upgrade Christmas with Lime.